You are about to experience the Monty'man on location at the Recovery Northwest Project.
Hey there, it's the Monty'man. Our regular show, Open Forum, will not air this week in order to bring to you the first in a three-part broadcast on location at the Recovery Northwest Project in Vancouver, Washington. For the next 3 days, we will have the honor and privilege of bringing to you some of the wonderful participants and organizers of this incredible event.
The views expressed on this special broadcast of the Take 12 radio show do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting or its affiliates. KHLT is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Now here's that guy who's getting less popular minute by minute, your host, the Monty'man.
Well, greetings, friends and family, and welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show. Whether you're listening on our station or the Bill Post Radio Network or any other network, Graceful Living Network, whatever radio broadcast network you're listening to, we're glad you're here. What you're about to hear are several interviews with the wonderful people that made up the Recovery Northwest Project. Now, this show is exclusively sponsored by Free by the Sea Recovery Center in Ocean Park, Washington. And I have to tell you, these people are absolutely amazing. I want to thank them for sponsoring this show. I also want to give a special thank you to Marco Ronzi, who traveled with me and spent the entire week with me helping to co-host other shows. And really, I couldn't have done this without him. This is not something that you can do by yourself. You have to have a traveling companion with you. It's just impossible to do by yourself. And Marco, thank you so much, brother, for all that you did and for your companionship and your help throughout the week and the weekend. All right, so what you're going to hear are short interviews with folks, not all the folks, of course. There were literally hundreds in attendance, but some folks at the Recovery Northwest Project that was held at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver in cooperation with the Hands Across the Bridge ceremony as well as Oxfest 2014. So without further ado, here's the Monty'man interviewing some of the great people that were in attendance at this year's event. We are on location at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver, Washington. We are here covering the event, the Recovery Northwest Project. This is the first year for this project, and they're in cooperation with the Hands Across the Bridge ceremony and Oxfest. Now, this year, the World Convention of the Oxford House Movement is being held in this area, and that's over at Esther Short Park, and we're kind of mixing the whole thing together, starting out with this hotel and convention center, kicking it off with presenters and exhibitors and workshops and meetings and such. And so the very first person I'm going to be talking to is my neighbor with Clean Adventures right here next door to me, and that is John Paul. Now, John had been on the show before, but it was, where was it anyway? Where were we at?
We were at Sober Portland. Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
We were at Sober Portland, and I don't remember the exact location. I know it was at a restaurant, a small little venue there,
right,
about a month and a half ago, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, John, you got into Clean Adventures how?
I was in Las Vegas. I had lived there for a while. I went to rehab there twice, and the second time I was looking to get out. I was looking for something different, and really, a couple weeks in, I was just expecting to go back to the same old thing,
right?
That I had been doing before. But just kind of out of nowhere, my case manager found this place. She thought it would be really good for me to go out in recovery and experience things, that I had never done before, and it's been an absolute blessing. I couldn't be more grateful for where I am.
Okay, so from the time we talked last till
Sure.
now, you've kind of changing directions at Clean Adventures, right?
Yeah, I made a little bit of a transition. I completed my 6 months, graduated from the program, and I've been lucky enough to be employed now at Clean Adventures.
Right. So you're here with another gentleman, and what's his first name?
His name's Jesse.
Okay, and we're going to try and talk to Jesse and find out what's going on with Jesse's story.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, right. So John Paul's been patiently sitting here with me while I was having difficulty with the equipment, which is often the case when I'm on the road. Okay, so are you going to be here for both days and for the Hands Across the Bridge and all that?
I believe so, yeah. I'll definitely be here tomorrow, and depending on what kind of stuff I have going on with work on Sunday, I may be able to make it then as well.
Okay. When we first got here, you approached me. Is there something you'd like to share with the listeners specifically that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I guess, it would be great to express some gratitude. I do want to say, and I won't get too much into my history, but from where I've been to where I am now in the short span of about 8.5 months, sometimes it's overwhelming, to think about all the support I've received along the way. And, I guess if I want to do anything, it's just to express gratitude to everybody, the people here at a convention like this.
Right.
It's really inspiring when you see all these people coming together. And without stuff like this, I never could have done it. I know I can't do it on my own.
Right. And so, okay, how long ago was it when you were just out of control?
My sobriety date is January 2nd of 2014, so I guess I don't really have to go into what my New Year's was like. You could probably paint the picture in your head, but
yeah, you bet.
I got to a point where I was just absolutely beaten down and actually had no intention of getting sober. But for whatever reason, and this is just not something that history shows that I do, I picked up that phone and I asked for some help, and it's really amazing. It's interesting to me that when I actually reached out for help and I really wanted it, all the people came into my life that I needed, and all the pieces fell in place for me, and it's continued to do that to get me to where I'm at right now.
John Paul, do you do a lot of reflection? Do a lot of things come to your mind about your past, and you kind of think, who was that guy? Yeah. I mean, absolutely. You just have those moments of clarity that they talk about a lot of times in the morning, sometimes at night after my day's gone by. And the beauty of it really is that now I'm able to look back on those events from a different perspective. Sometimes I'm able to look at them a little more objectively. Sometimes I'm able to really just kind of get an idea of where I came from, and I can't say that I fully understand it, right.
But I'm able to come to grips with it today.
Yeah. It's quite amazing, isn't it?
It is, and there's just.
Did you ever when you were putting this stuff in your system and your brain was where it was at, did you ever stop and think, this has got to stop at some point? Sure. Yeah.
Sure. And there were brief, half-hearted attempts along the way, over a 10-year period. I just, for whatever reason, and I would say the biggest part of that was that I wasn't ready. I had never had all the pieces fall into place like I did this time. Like I was just saying, all these people just kind of coming out of nowhere and giving me exactly what I needed.
Were you in the room when we had the opening?
I was.
Okay. Now I'm going to go somewhere that and people know if they listen to my show, they know that I'm a born again Christian man. I'm a conservative man.
Sure.
They also know that being in the recovery community, that sometimes I have to use wisdom.
Sure.
Because I want to be effective.
Right.
I want to be about, doing God's work and helping people to recover from a single helpless state of mind and body.
Absolutely.
So I found something very different. I don't know how many of these things you've gone to, but I've been going to these things for a long time.
Right.
And it was a whole nother kind of picture in the room the other day,
Sure.
or today. We had a pastor that works in the recovery field.
Yes.
He's one of us. He's been there, done that,
Right.
and all the thing, and he sang some songs and so forth. How did you feel about what went on in there? Be honest. Go ahead.
It was interesting, and I guess my perspective on it today is a lot different
than it would have been.
If you talked, if you sat me there a couple of years ago, there probably would have been a lot of eye rolling and some,
sneaking out the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, it doesn't matter what it is that gets you there. What I saw today in that room were people that have come from extreme lows and are now in a place of serenity and peace, and that's just a beautiful thing.
And how can you fault that, right?
Right, and it doesn't matter really.
And that we would be that excited about where we've been. We should be that excited, shouldn't
absolutely.
we? My gosh, I mean, the stuff we did, and now we're here, and sometimes we just kind of fall asleep and go, oh, yeah, I'm thankful, thanks God,
Right.
And so I want more of that for me. I want to be a little bit more enthusiastic.
Yeah.
How you doing today? Oh, I'm doing okay. I probably won't pull out my guitar and start singing to you.
Right.
Right. But it was kind of refreshing to me.
It was, and there was a lot of genuity to it, and I think we can just pick up and sense those things. These aren't people that are just trying to, to put on a front.
No.
These are people that are really living a lifestyle that should be emulated in whatever way that you want to do it.
Right.
These people have something that most of the general population doesn't.
And don't we want that? I mean, really, I want that peace and that serenity and that joy, and want to be able to give it away openly without being ashamed. They tell us to get a higher power, then they don't want us talking about them.
Right.
You ever notice that?
I do.
But so that was refreshing. What we're talking about, listeners, is in the opening meeting of this event, there was a pastor that came up and sang some songs. Actually, the songs he sang, one of them was by somebody who wrote a song about a guy who was just really having struggles identifying himself with his illness. And because he was hearing those voices in and say, "You're defeated, you're no good, you're worthless," and they did a song about that. I thought that was really excellent. There wasn't any, for lack of a better reason, there wasn't any preaching, but it was sharing the person's own personal experience, strength, and hope, and I thought it was really great. John Paul, you want to go over and grab Jesse?
I would love to, and thanks for having me on, Monty.
Okay, buddy, thanks you,
so
man.
much.
Okay, John Paul's going over to the booth next door, the Clean Adventures of Oregon booth. Really? And Jesse's going to come over. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? Hi, Jesse.
I'm doing all right.
Okay, there's your microphone right there, my friend, and you're at a perfect distance. All right, Jesse, your last initial is H?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are how old?
I'm 22.
Okay. When did you start drinking, using whatever it was that you did?
Well, started smoking pot and drinking, hanging out with the friends at 14, 15.
Okay,
and that was
and why?
I've been learning that myself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good answer.
Yeah, it's hard to put my finger on exactly what made me feel the need to go out, and I guess it just became the norm. It became what my idea of fun got warped. I thought that was what fun was, and then slowly the party stops being so fun, over time.
Did you graduate from pot to harder
definitely.
Stuff?
I was a full-blown cocaine addict by 16, and then started doing heroin, then started smoking coke, and just got out of control.
Were you using intravenously?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. You see, a lot of people think, well, they have this vision of what an intravenous drug user looks like.
Yeah.
You don't fit the bill.
I know, that's what I hear.
It's all that clean living, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But boy, man, it doesn't matter who you are. It's no respecter of people, right?
Yeah.
So you look sharp. You're a handsome-looking guy. You're young. You've got charisma. But you've seen pictures of the meth makeover,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right? That could be you.
Yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you have. So, okay, any drug activity on the streets for you, or was yours pretty much a private thing?
It was a lot on the streets. One of my biggest problems was actually selling drugs. That it took me down a path I never thought I'd be on. Ended up, doing a lot of time in jail, getting a lot of charges and stuff like that, and just living just a not spiritual life. Let's just say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you come from a background of faith? Your family?
Yeah, definitely Christian based.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I have kind of my own idea of what my higher power is. It doesn't
Right.
fit exactly into all the rules and regulations, but
Not necessarily mom and dad's,
yeah,
but
it's what works for me.
it's your personal relationship.
Yeah.
See, and my kids, when they were growing up,
Mm-hmm.
we told them, you've got it can't be ours.
Yeah.
It's got to be your personal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to develop that. And your parents okay with that?
Well, yeah, now.
Now.
But back in the day, it felt like, I resented God a little bit because I felt like I had to fit the bill. I had to fit into these rules, and if I was going to break these rules, I was going to be punished, and so on and so forth.
Which really isn't the Lord at all.
No,
is
that's
it?
not my higher power. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine either.
I don't get reprimanded for doing something. You know what I mean?
For doing what is your nature.
Yeah, exactly. Just as long as I'm working to better myself, that's all that matters to me.
Right,
So.
because God, he's supportive. He's encouraging. Yeah, you got off the horse. Take my hand. Let me help you back up. Let's
Yep.
ride. Let's ride together.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
know. Yeah. Good for you, man. Good
Thanks,
for you.
brother.
So, you're in Clean Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans? What are your goals?
Well, I kind of burned all the bridges I had at home. My mom lives in San Diego now. My dad had moved, and I'm looking at this as a fresh start. I want to get a foundation, get a job, save up some money, start going to school. I'm kind of discovering my my interest right now because I didn't give myself time. All I did is focus all my energy into partying, doing drugs and everything. So I don't really know what my interests are. So I'm kind of just rediscovering myself right now.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah.
You got time.
Yeah.
If you were going down the path we're still going down, you wouldn't have much time.
Yeah, and I find if I put too much stress on worrying about the future and what I'm going to do, I put myself in this hole, then I kind of stop focusing on what's going on right now, not living in today, you know what I mean? And that screws my head up a lot.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay, so at your age, other folks your age that you see going down a path, there's a dragon down that road. I don't want you going down that way.
Yeah.
How do you communicate with them? How do you encourage them
I think it's
to not go down there?
I think it's important to I'm not all for telling war stories and I don't like to glamorize the drug life, but I think especially like you said, I don't fit the bill for intravenous drug user or a multiple felon. Criminal record and stuff like that.
Multiple felon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But it's important to because I found when I was first in my recovery, nobody knew what I'd been through. Nobody's walked the road I have. You know what I mean? So nobody has anything to say that I want to hear. But it's important to let people know. Not only have I been there, I've done worse. You know what I mean? You think that's bad, but there's hope. There's a chance. I never thought in a million years I had 100 days clean yesterday, and that's.
Really
Amazing for
Congratulations.
me.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you're in recovery and you hear 25 years and stuff, it doesn't sound that crazy. But to me, it's more than I ever could have dreamed. You know what I mean? I haven't used it all. I was had an Achilles tendon was ruptured. I just got out of the boot. I started physical therapy and stuff like that. And finally, I got a haircut. My hair used to be 6 inches longer than this. I feel so much better about myself just in this short amount of time, and I can't wait to see what a year holds. And it's important to lead by example because I know people that have preached to me about the right way to do recovery and this and that, and then they go out and relapse or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's just, you just got to, it's about actions, not words.
Because they may be right, but if they're not applying it and implementing it, they're going to be dead right.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, right on. So how are you giving this thing away, man? How are you giving back?
Being here is cool.
Yeah.
Talking to people. I just did a cool little workshop, and it's just I'm really good at talking to people. In the house that I'm living at right now, there's always people that need an ear. You know what I mean? Somebody that they feel like they can trust and talk to. And I really enjoy talking to the guys in my house that are with me, going through the similar things that I'm going to. So that's really it. Just being an ear for people to talk to.
Yeah, good for you. Well, Jesse, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Monty. That's
all right,
great.
you bet.
Right, you have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, that's Jesse, Clean Adventures, Oregon. They're in the booth right next to ours. We're going to be making the rounds here pretty soon. Listen, we're going to take a short break. Don't go away. More from the Recovery Northwest Project here in Vancouver at the Vancouver Red Lion when we come back. Don't go away.
Free by the Sea is a drug and alcohol recovery center located in beautiful Ocean Park, Washington. This facility is amazingly gorgeous, but what's even more amazing is the integrity of the staff and the treatment provided for those wishing to recover from narcotic and alcohol addiction. The folks at Free by the Sea have a passion for presenting the solution to addiction for you or your loved one. To speak with an admission specialist, visit freebythesea.com or call toll-free 800-272-9199. This place is simply amazing.
All right, well, welcome back, friends and family. You have tuned in to Take12Radio.com on your internet dial, Recovery Talk and Positive Music. Remember to visit our main website at Take12Radio.com. Listen, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, go to youtube.com/Monty Meyer, MontyMeyer, and that'll take you there. Or you can just follow the links here at Take12Radio.com any time of day or night. All right, we just got back from a presentation and a lunch and a comedian, and she was pretty good, actually, I believe. And this has been great. We are at the Pacific Northwest arena of the country. And as most of you know, we've been doing a lot of focus on the Pacific Northwest as of this year. And this is the first, hopefully of many, of the Recovery Northwest project coming out of the Pacific Northwest. And what they have done is they've incorporated it with the Hands Across the Bridge ceremony and Oxfest, the Oxford group, Clean and Sober Living Home folks. And so right now at our booth is Maudie Jordan, and she is with a faith-based transitional housing for women out of Vancouver, Washington. Maudie, how did you get involved in this stuff? I mean, you just wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm going to open up a home for women that are hurting, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you that God gave it to me on a silver platter. A house was offered to me where we were going to be allowed to furnish it and fill it and pay as we went along. Fortunately, it only took us 1 month to become filled and be able to support ourselves.
And how many beds do you have?
Right now we have 10.
10 beds, okay. And how long is the transition from once they come in to once they get their own place and that kind of thing?
It really depends on the individual. Different people have different needs. Some women come in that are ready for action and just need a boost, where other women come in who are broken and need love and support and encouragement.
Right. Okay, and as I'm thinking around with my mic here, there we go. Okay, so Marty, do you have people in your life, or have you yourself gone through the recovery process? Or?
Absolutely. I am I just say that I'm in recovery, and my life is amazing now. I give all the credit to God, because without Him, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Yeah. So, when did you start your journey of misbehaving? Let's put it that way.
About 2002.
Okay.
And it didn't take me very long to get in serious trouble.
Right. Problems with the law?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All that.
The whole gamut, right?
The whole gamut.
Yeah, you bet. So, now you're giving back. You're doing this thing. Let me ask you, when women come to your facility, what can they expect when they come there? I mean, do you guys do the nutrition thing? Do you have accountability? Are there meetings? What goes on?
Well, we have morning devotions every morning, Monday through Friday at 8:30 for 1 hour, and we have amazing people in our community that volunteer their time, as well as myself. We have a Bible study on Monday night. We attend two different churches. We attend Lifehouse Fellowship on Wednesday and Unity Church on Park Crest on Sunday. And then we have an arms class for women who have suffered domestic violence on Thursday nights.
Very good. Okay, so some of the listeners are saying, okay, what's faith-based? What's that mean exactly?
Well, if God isn't in the element and in the mix, at least for me, I had been through a couple of drug treatments and it just didn't seem to stick. But I'm going to tell you that God set me free of my addiction, and it's like it never was. I'm totally free. So we bring the women in and we deal with their immediate needs, may it be food or transportation, vision, legal needs. We address those needs, and then we just help them, encourage them along, and we just tell them that they're important, they're loved, and they have a Father in heaven that is crazy about them.
Yeah,
and
right.
Watch the transformation begin.
Were you here for the opening ceremony?
Unfortunately, I wasn't.
That was very faith-paced. I will tell you that. You would have loved it. You would have loved it. Well, listen, Monty, thank you for taking a few minutes to sit down with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You bet. And your folks' website is gatesofgrace.org. Gatesofgrace.org. If you are interested in finding out more information, you can call them at 360-980-3973. And they can email you at Monty@gatesofgrace.org, right?
MJORDAN 98144 at yahoo.com. That information is on our website. God bless you, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, next up here at the Take 12 Radio booth is Carla Jo Whitson. And she is the resource manager for Southwest region of the Brain Injury Alliance in Washington.
Right.
True. Okay, so what is the Brain Injury Alliance, Carla Jo? What is it exactly?
It's a group that works to promote the education of and awareness of brain injury, support, information. They have 2 programs. Mm-hmm. One is our resource line out of Seattle that operates from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, where people with any kind of brain injury or family members can call and get support, find out information, be connected with resources. Then we have resource managers like myself, and we work with people who've experienced traumatic brain injuries in the last 10 years. We work from ages of 5 years and older.
Right.
And if they are located within our region. Southwest Washington covers Clark, Cowlitz, and Lewis counties. And get my referrals from hospitals, friends, people that call our helpline in Seattle, and just word of mouth.
Okay, so this is the Recovery Northwest Project. Mm-hmm. Okay, so somebody listening might say, what is a brain injury specialist, for lack of a better term? What are they doing at a recovery conference? So tell us how this meshes with drug and alcohol recovery.
What I look for is any opportunity to get the word out about brain injury. When you add up all brain injuries, including traumatic brain injury, It's the second largest disability in the country. It's also called the invisible disability because a lot of people walking around with brain injuries look normal.
And don't know it.
Don't know it.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard and studied is when you've had a drug or alcohol issues, you have probably gotten in risky situations that would involve getting your head banged. Car accidents, falls, sometimes the substance makes you think that miscalculate the choices you make and you get injured.
You bet. So what would you think? Just take a stab at it. How many people out there would you say probably are running around with some sort of brain trauma, some head injury, and don't know? It's like 1 in 5, 1 in 20?
I really don't know, but I would imagine the number is very high.
Right.
A lot of times people go to the hospitals, go through emergency, they're patched up, sent on their way, and the doctors don't mention that, oh, by the way, you were in that car accident, your head was banged around.
Yeah.
So in a little while, you're feeling different than you did before the accident. Come back and see us. I really think they are so happy and feel so good that they were able to save your life, get you walking out of their facility. They may have not even thought of further complications.
Can traumatic brain injury, can that affect a person's recovery from drug and alcohol abuse? Can Can it interfere with that?
I would think so. I do know that I've had that because of the injury to the brain,
right.
You're not going to process the substance like you would with the healthy brain, and so that's going to make you feel different.
Sure.
I would also think that maybe because of the injury and not knowing what happened, a lot of people, accidents, falls at home, may not think they need to see the doctor, and then they start having symptoms, and so they may find that substances, they start self-medicating, and not realizing, again, that the reason for it.
Do you guys work a lot with young people?
Yeah, we've actually worked with people from the age of 5 years and up.
Wow. Okay, here it is. Here's the biggie, all right? We've got two schools of thought about tossing kids in the air.
Mm-hmm.
All right? One is that if you do it, it will teach them somehow through some way how to balance, how to this, how to that. It'll take away their natural fear of heights. I mean, I've heard a million things. And another one is that you better watch that. Because you could really cause some damage. So which is it? Is there any benefit to throwing your kid in the air at all? Really?
Not really. I mean, as a kid, I loved it when my uncle would throw me in the air. That was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But considering the developmental brain, the only thing in your head that's holding your brain in place is the spinal cord and the fluid around it.
Okay.
So it's kind of rocking back and forth and being... So I would say no because of the possibility of damage of banging that little brain around to the skull.
Yeah.
With my kids, I like to say take a raw egg, shake it, stop shaking it. What do you feel? Most of them say I feel the motion of the egg inside.
Okay.
And that's in a way kind of not as severe, but that is what your brain's doing. It's just kind of bouncing around.
Right.
Also with kids, they ask me, well, don't kids recover from brain injury quicker? An adult who has their brain has gone through its full developmental stages, and they have a brain injury, have a better chance of recovery because they're just dealing with the injury. With a child at any level from 0 to 23, 25, when the brain has finished its development, you could also, if the brain gets injured, you could also impact the progression of the future development.
Wow.
When I was going to school, we had to take a biology class. I did my last report on the concussion wounds of the soldiers, and what came to mind is people will tell veterans in their 40s or 50s, well, you're still acting like an 18-year-old. If that veteran was in combat, going through war, got his head rattled around.
Yeah.
He could have
that just makes sense.
Slow down his development, and that might explain with other things.
So, okay, so with the further education and investigation into brain trauma, are we making quick headway into learning more, or is it a very slow process?
I think I'm not sure how quickly we're making, but we are making. There are a lot of services out there that are researching. The Mayo Clinic is great with lots of information. The Defense Department, with the war, we've gotten more and more information. We're also discovering that people with brain injuries can recover, or they can learn tools that make it easier for them to progress. I never, people say, well, how long is it going to be? I don't know. I've seen a lot of people that maybe the doctor said, you'll never do anything, and they've created a life for them. They're getting married. So, you can never say never. It's kind of a hard question to say, but yes, there's a lot of focus on it, a lot of work. We have the Brain Injury Alliance of Oregon, the Brain Injury Alliance of Washington, and lots of groups that are out there working on it. Again, when you consider a disability that affects, it's the second largest one in the country. Yeah, a lot of people are trying to do a lot of work at it.
And that's rough stuff. So if a person suspects at all that they may have hit their head, we joke about it.
Right.
Oh, you must have hit your head. But it's not funny. If they suspect at all, everybody should get checked, don't you think?
I think so. Sometimes they may have trouble finding a doctor that's up on it.
Is on the page,
Right.
same page with them. Yeah.
Right. And then, again, you can go to your, just Google your Brain Injury Alliances or braininjury.org. A lot of good organizations out there that you can start getting some information.
Yeah.
And then maybe they can connect you with doctors that are more aware of it.
Right. Well, this is such important work. Carla Jo Whitson, resource manager. What exactly does a resource manager do?
Resource manager, what I do is I meet with survivors and their families and find out what resources and service they're looking for.
Oh, good.
And connect them with those.
Right.
Offer education, give them an opportunity to have somebody they can vent to and talk to and not be worried about somebody getting mad at them. Mm-hmm. And then going to public events like this just to let everybody else be aware of it and make people aware that maybe that person that in line is getting mad at you has had a brain injury. A lot of our sports figures that we look at that do crazy things. I'm not excusing their actions.
Yeah.
But the brain injury may be doing parts to their brain that's helping them not think straight or making them hard to control their anger. And again, we can't allow them to keep behaving that way. Just give them a pass for being bad, but at least maybe we can then direct them in a direction that'll get them the help they need to learn how to deal with it.
And this is why it's so important for treatment facilities and recovery centers to treat the whole person holistically.
Yes.
Do some MRIs, do some stuff, do the tests, because sometimes we may not even be dealing with addiction, right? We may be dealing with a brain injury.
Yeah, it's it's kind of chicken or the egg. Did the addiction come first? Did the brain injury come first?
Right.
And again, the more tools you have of understanding that person, the more opportunities you have for helping them have an easier recovery.
Yeah, you bet. Well, listen, listeners, the website is www.biawa.org. The phone number is 877-824-1766. That's 877-824-1766. It's the Brain Injury Alliance of Washington. You don't have to be from Washington to make this call, right? I mean, but you guys will help get people in touch with people in their area if they need to do that.
Yeah, if they can't participate in our program, we try to connect them with services and other things so they're going away. And I'd like to say one other thing. Washington and Oregon's Brain Injury Alliances were the first ones to put the laws on the books that got our kids playing sports for them to be aware that when it appeared they may had an injury that might cause brain injury to pull them off the field. Mm-hmm. Because of that, and it wasn't something they'd really planned, now Mississippi was the 50th state last year to sign such a law, so their efforts have gone nationwide in protecting our kids when they play sports.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know what you just said, I just thought of something, and I know I've got friends out there that ride motorcycles, and they're avidly against wearing helmets. They fight the laws that try to get passed, and I can never figure. Now, I'm not a cyclist, so maybe I'm a normie when it comes to that. I just don't get it. Why wouldn't you want to protect your head when you're going? I mean, you can die going 5 miles an hour. We're talking 50, 60, 75 miles per hour, and you don't want to wear a helmet?
I think it's...
Maybe they hit their head already.
Well, I know from, my generation, there was a thrill of riding without the helmet. I can understand that. But I do know a lot of research. My husband rides a Harley. He has that helmet on. I've got it when I ride with him. So I think they've become too aware. And there's just some people that don't think it's going to happen to them. But I've had clients that were on their skateboard, gone down the same street a number of times, and took a header, and now their life is kind of upside down.
Yeah, you bet.
And when I talk to the kids, their problem is, well, helmets don't look cool. And I says, well, you're going to tell that to a jet fighter pilot, and then occasionally there'll be around a couple of my friends that are riding Harleys, and a couple of them are pretty big, and I'll say, you go tell that guy back there that he's a sissy for riding his helmet, and their eyes just kind of, whoops.
That's good. That's a really cool point. Well, Carla Jo, thank you so very much.
And thank you
for taking a few minutes to stop by and sharing with us what you do.
I do, and I'm going to go to this week and check out your website, listen to your music.
Good for you. All right, Carla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. More from the Recovery Northwest Project in Vancouver, Washington, when we return. Free by the Sea, Sunset View Drug and Alcohol Recovery Center offers an inpatient residential treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction. Through our many years of experience treating addictions, we know that the best way to ensure successful treatment outcomes is by removing the client from the people, places, and things associated with their addictions. By reducing these distractions, we are able to give our clients the opportunity to fully engage in the treatment process and learn the coping skills they will need in order to begin a new life free from addiction. For more information, visit our website at www.freebythesea.com or call 800-272-9199. That's 800-272-9199. Free by the Sea, charting a new course to recovery. Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to this wonderful event here up in the Pacific Northwest. This is the Recovery Northwest Project here in Vancouver, Washington. And we're doing something, well, it's not a new idea, but it is the first time for you guys. I'm talking with right now Joey Smith. Joey, this is year one of collaborating and kind of bringing it together with Oxfest and Hands Across the Bridge and so forth. So tell us a little bit about what is going on here today at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver.
Well, sure, Monty. Thank you. Today and tomorrow as well is a full-day conference on recovery-related activities. There's 5 different workshops going on at various times of the day. And then we are also serving breakfast and lunch tomorrow, and we have some guest speakers. And Dennis Martinez, the skate legend, is going to be addressing the audience tomorrow. Dennis has been in recovery for quite some time, and he has a great story and a great foundation, and he's kind of the highlight of tomorrow's activities. So it should be a lot of fun for all those folks out there that are skate fans. When you talk about Dennis Martinez, if you ask people if they know who he is, it's like asking a golfer if they know who Arnold Palmer is.
Interesting.
Guy's really a legend. But in addition to Dennis, there's several workshops on recovery-related activities, whether it's sober living or healthy lifestyles, just a whole smorgasbord of topics that are really helpful to people that are in recovery, both newly in recovery and those of us that have been in recovery for a while. We can learn a lot from.
Yeah, in fact, right now I think there's one going on nutrition and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it covers just about every topic you could imagine that can help you live a healthier lifestyle.
Okay, so why is it taking so long to get something like this going here in the Pacific Northwest? I mean, we have U.S. Journal does this kind of thing, Foundations does it, C4 does it. Now you guys are doing it. It's time, but why is it taking so long? What's your idea about that?
Well, I think it's probably a lot of factors. It's a lot of work to put something together, and it's all a volunteer workforce that puts it together. So it's members of the recovery community that put their time and efforts into putting something like this together. So it's a task, so it's a lot of elbow grease involved with it. And then, of course, there's the monetary aspect of it. We were very fortunate this year to have some assistance from like Access to Recovery and also Department of Health and Mental Wellness also contributed quite a bit to the function this year. So, it does take some financial contributions to put it together. So I think it's just a combination of the resources, both physical and financial, that it takes. And I think with the birth of Recovery Northwest Project and people seeing what we're all about and seeing what a great event this is, that there'll be more people that will be participating next year. That's certainly our hope.
Yeah, you bet. 'Cause there's people there's people even poking their heads in that didn't know this was going on. I've talked to already today. And they're going, oh, wow, if I had known. Well, now they do.
Absolutely.
Now they do.
And I think, as you would agree, Monty, people that are here seem to be having a good time, and they seem to be learning a lot and having fun, too. So that's what our goal was.
It's good stuff. We just saw a great comedian at lunch.
Yeah, Susan Rice. She was really funny.
Yeah. And there's a lot more stuff to come. And then, of course, on Sunday is the Hands Across the Bridge ceremony. Do they now? This is my first year of doing that up here. I've done it in other locations. Do they fill both sides of the bridge up or just one side?
It starts on the Oregon side and it starts on the Washington side and actually meet in the middle. So it's very close to going completely across the bridge. So if you can imagine that's
a huge bridge.
That's a huge bridge.
Yeah.
So you start thinking about that. The numbers are well up into the thousands.
Right.
So it's a pretty cool event. For those who haven't seen it before, I would really suggest they come on over and check it out. It's really neat.
Right. And I think that happens at noon on Sunday?
That is. I think actually the folks start walking out towards the bridge a little bit before noon in the 11:30, 11:45 area. And then we actually all grab hands, I think, about high noon. So it's a good idea to get here a little bit before. I think if folks get here by 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, they'll be in real good shape.
And it's more than just you go stand in there and then you just walk away. There's tugboats that come out. There's pictures.
Oh yeah, it's really
blow
cool.
The whistle, which is instructions to do step A, step B, step C.
Yeah, and they blow the horns.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. So there's pictures from both down on the river coming up, and I think there's aerial pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And most folks might have seen, even if they haven't been here, they might have seen the pictures, in the newspapers of the event. But it's really, really a neat thing.
And I do want to tell the listeners, for those of you who are thinking about coming out, just a word of caution. I got this from Patty Katz. This is to celebrate recovery. So when you're on the bridge, please don't be waving at the cars and distracting them, because you've got pedestrians all over the place and you got traffic, because they don't close down the bridge.
No, they do not.
Right.
And the authorities, the law authorities work very closely with us to allow us to do this.
Yeah.
So everybody really needs to be on their best behavior, which everybody is. I don't think there's any issue.
Right,
so
right.
Just act like an adult, and hopefully all of us are doing a little bit better now that we're in recovery, and we don't resort to any of our old behaviors at the wrong time. I think we'll be okay if we just use good common sense.
I still can't spell adult.
No, it's too old.
Okay, so Joey, what is your official capacity with the Recovery Northwest Project?
Well, I really don't have an official
official
capacity. I mean, I'm a volunteer. I'm on the steering committee for Recovery Northwest Project.
Right.
The way that I was introduced to the Recovery Northwest Project is I am on the Substance Abuse Advisory Board in Clark County. And we were introduced, and a bunch of the folks that are involved in that have put a lot of work towards the recovery project as well. So that was my introduction. And, of course, in addition to being in recovery myself for 15 years, I work in the recovery field myself. I have a consulting company called Pacific Recovery Consulting, to where we help people find treatment, whatever their treatment needs may be, whether it's residential treatment they're looking for, or a good intensive outpatient program, or detox. We can help them find detox. We can help them find sober living. We can help with interventionists. So any need that somebody may have, and there's no fee associated whatsoever, we check out what people's needs may be, and we can match them with whatever they need. And if they have insurance, we can try to find places that take insurance. If they're looking for a private pay situation that's affordable in their budget, we'll match them with those places. As you well know, Monty, treatment can be real expensive. But there are options out there that are available to people that are attainable, and we do a pretty good job of putting it all out there to where people at least know where their resources are.
Right. So please don't let the financial thing scare you to the point where you don't pick up the phone.
Absolutely.
Because there are really an enormous amount of people that are willing to step up the plate and help.
Sure. There's, in addition to treatment facilities, there's faith-based organizations. There's groups like the Salvation Army that have treatment programs, and there are resources out there. I'm not going to fib to you. Sometimes it can be a challenge because so many people are in need. There's so many of us out there that are suffering, and you have to put a little work into it sometimes to find an available spot. But there are spots out there, so please, if you're out there and you're saying, well, I need help, but I have no resources, don't give up. Don't take that approach. Reach out and see if people can help you and find those resources for you.
Yeah, amen. Joey, thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Monty. It's always great to talk to you.
All right, Joey
Thanks.
Smith, the Recovery Northwest Project here at the Red Lion Inn in Vancouver. And you don't want to go away. We got more coming up, more interviews. We're doing this thing for 2 days. So hang on to your recovery horses. We'll be right back.
Choosing a facility for drug and alcohol rehabilitation treatment is an important decision. It should be a place where you will be comfortable and supported, and one that is staffed, equipped, and programmed for successful outcomes. Introducing Free by the Sea, located on 5 acres of secluded waterfront property along the southwest Washington coast, away from big city distractions. The campus is a renovated resort property, so the grounds are lush and beautiful. Above all, the reason to choose Free by the Sea is the success rate of our counselors and staff in helping clients to transition to a life free from addiction. For more information or to schedule a visit, call 800-272-9199 or visit our website at freebythesea.com.
Alrighty, and we have returned, and this is about wrapping it up for day one at the Recovery Northwest Project in Vancouver, Washington. Tomorrow, we are going to be broadcasting the second part of this wonderful event. But before we sign off for today, I just want to mention again our sponsor for this trip and our newest sponsor on Take 12 Radio, and that is the folks at Free by the Sea, the Sunset View Drug and Alcohol Recovery Center, and outpatient island assessment and counseling. And I just want to bring to your attention, this is 30, 60, and 90-day programs. Their individual treatment programs are based on the needs of the patient. Principles of 12-step programs have been expanded to provide a more intensive treatment program and address the following: disease and recovery education, relapse prevention, anger management and emotion regulation, art therapy and meditation, 12-step meetings, life skills, transition and reintegration procedures, celebrate recovery programs when available. They have an extended care program. They offer structured extended care programs that can extend up to a year, including intensive outpatient and continuing care programs off-site. Their patients can continue to focus on their own relapse prevention needs and deeper issues, providing an even greater opportunity for successes. The extended program includes the following. Check this out: strengthening relapse prevention skills, developing specific individualized personal recovery plans, life skills, building and expanding abilities to make healthy choices, increasing participation in 12-step fellowships, and vocational counseling, and opportunities for the patient to experience outings and activities to practice new skills in a safe environment while learning to have fun in recovery. This is also for the family, you guys. At Free by the Sea, they believe that drug and alcohol addiction affects the entire family. Families bring loved ones to Free by the Sea wanting to fix their loved ones and their substance abuse and behaviors. Well, their family program focuses on helping you and your family and or significant other create a foundation for family recovery. Your participation as a family member will help in the long-term health of your entire family. This is so important, folks. I speak from experience. Believe me, this is a family illness. The Free by the Sea family program, the goals of their program are to learn about addiction as a disease model, to identify family roles in addiction, to understand and prevent enabling behaviors and addiction, to learn to identify codependent behaviors, and to improve communication and learn to practice healthy conflict resolution. Boy, some of us need that, don't we? Also, to establish healthy boundaries and practice healthy recovery principles, specializing in programs utilizing Native American road to well-briety as well. And they invite you to visit them. And I invite you to visit them. We've done this twice now, and I just am overwhelmed by how well this place operates. And this is their invitation to you. We invite you to visit us at Free by the Sea to feel the peace and serenity of their supportive environment. Our staff is dedicated to giving you the tools you need to put your family back together. Here's the number I want you to call, folks. 360-665-4494. Or you can call toll-free 800-272-9199. That's 800-272-9199. Listen, this is an amazing place. When you call, I want you to tell them that Monty Meyer from Take 12 Radio referred you to them. That's important. All right? Tell them Monty Meyer from Take 12 Radio referred you to Free by the Sea. Go, make arrangements to go visit them. Spend the night. Tour the facility. Go hang out with the guys and gals on the beach during one of their campfire meetings. Sit in on an open 12-step meeting. Get involved. Eat the great food they have there. Visit the counselors and the staff. It's an amazing facility. You don't have to be from Washington to participate and be involved and check in to Free by the Sea in Ocean Park, Washington. That's just where they're located. But they serve internationally. All right? This has been a great experience for Take 12 Radio to be involved with Free by the Sea. We thank them so much for sponsoring this day one of the Recovery Northwest Project. We'll be back tomorrow for more interviews from this project. It has been a pleasure. Until next time, this is the Montyman, and I'm wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.